All right, welcome back, everybody. It's week 3 of the NFL. I'm joined alongside Matt Prisco. Matt, how are you, buddy?
Doing well, my friend. How are you?
Good. I'm Tuck Silva. Probably should have mentioned that. Yeah, what a depressing start to the NFL season, if you don't mind me saying. I mean, especially week 2. I'm not even talking about my picks, which we'll get to in a second, but the injuries across the board we're seeing in the NFL are just horrendous.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Heading into Monday Night Football, we had Joe Burrow, Jalen Waddle, Brandon Ayuk, Saquon Barkley, Devontae Adams left the game. Just injuries upon injuries piling up. And then Monday Night Football happened, where you saw probably one of the most gruesome injuries you'll ever see to the best running back in the NFL, Nick Chubb. And I don't know if his career will ever be the same or if his career will continue, because it's happened again to his knee. And it's nothing he did wrong. It's just, Minka Fitzpatrick destroyed his knee with his helmet, and that's football, I guess. And it's very depressing, especially when you have Nick Chubb on 2 of your fantasy teams. But in real life, I feel terribly for Nick Chubb.
Yeah, me too. I love watching Chubb. He's a good player, good guy. Fitzpatrick.
You know him personally?
Yeah, good guy. Yeah, I met him at Georgia.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I met him 3 times. No, didn't meet him, but Minka a little, didn't have to do that, in my opinion. Didn't like the way he came in. I know that it's football. I'm not saying he did it intentionally, but Jesus, he kind of torpedoed the guy.
Yeah, it just sucks. Yeah, and I hope that's not what this NFL season's going to continue to be. But nonetheless, why don't we quickly recap our week 2 picks? Yep. And mine will be very quick because it was just awful. Just god-awful.
We have those weeks sometimes, Tucker. And listen, when you gamble, you're going to have bad weeks. I'll set it up nice for you, but go ahead. You could talk about your week.
I had the Pats as 2.5-point dogs. That was a loss, obviously. Ravens, I hit 3.5, plus 3.5 against the Bengals. Giants was a loss and minus 5.5. They should have won that if they were awake in the first half.
Insane.
A miraculous comeback in the second half, which I should have hit that live betting, honestly. They were down, 20-0 or
20-1, 20-0 or 21-0?
Whatever it was. It was like insane. And then I missed Jets in Dallas under 39 by 1 point, I think.
Landed at 40, yep.
And then Denver wasn't even close, 3.5-point favorites. That was a loss. So overall, 1-4 for me and 0-2 for the year on my best bets. And overall record through 2 weeks is 4-5-1.
Plenty of time to get that back up. Don't you worry about it. Hey, you carried me in week 1 with the 3-1-1, and I carried us last week. Very profitable week for me, 4-1, hitting another best bet. I had Seattle plus 6, had Chicago plus 3, which Justin Fields, man, just don't throw a pick 6 on a screen pass from your own 5, maybe. Horrible game from Fields.
We'll talk about that more later. Yeah.
Don't like that. That was the loss on the card. I did have Miami minus 2, had Carolina plus 3.5. That hook matters. Always matters, so make sure you're getting good numbers, bet good numbers, not teams. Always remember that. Pittsburgh plus 2.5, an outright winner on Monday night as well there. So 4-1 for me. Best bet of Pittsburgh cashes, so 2-0 on best bets for the year. Overall record 6-4. I have to mention this too because they had a really good weekend gambling. Gave out the college picks, was 4-2 on those as well. Mm-hmm. So had a very nice.
Yeah, you're the college guy here.
Yeah. Love college football. So you see my 6-pack on Instagram every Saturday morning. I'll post those. So a combined 8-3 for me. Happy weekend for me.
All right, well, let's move on to week 3. Hopefully I can turn the page and onwards and upwards here. So Thursday night football, we have the San Francisco 49ers, 10-point favorites over the New York Giants without Saquon Barkley by all indications. Not confirmed, but that seems to be the case. Point total 44.5 on this one. No plays on Thursday Night Football here in the podcast just for timing purposes, but honestly this would have been one of my picks with the 49ers as 10-point favorites. I would probably hit that, feel pretty confident in that. And correct me if I'm wrong, but Kyle Shanahan after the game said that I'm paraphrasing, there was some sort of feel of regret for how much he's used CMC so far.
Yeah. He gave Eli Mitchell 0 carries on
Yeah,
Sunday.
so I would expect to see Eli Mitchell a lot more in this matchup, especially with what seems to be a capable or not an uncapable or inconsistent, I should say, opponent with the Giants.
Yeah, they're going to bury the Giants.
It's their first home game too, right?
Home
the
game,
49ers.
First home game. The Giants did stay out west after playing in Arizona, but without Saquon Barkley, good luck. You don't have the weapons to hang with the Niners right now. Their offense is rolling, and I have a sneaky suspicion they're going to sit Ayuk. He's being listed as a true game time decision. They're not going to need him.
So he came back into the game twice.
He gutted it out.
The shoulder injury.
Yeah, he gutted it out.
Yeah, a tough guy, but
no need to play him.
There's zero need to play him, and I'll expect a nice little uptick in targets and overall performance for George Kittle. Yep. I would say, who's been very quiet.
Was texting a few friends this morning. Yeah. Keep your eye on Ayuk. I would play George Kittle props right now because they're just going to skyrocket if Ayuk is out. Yeah. I think Kittle gets into the end zone regardless if Ayuk plays. He's not going to be his 100% self. So I want Kittle anytime TD. I don't even know what it is yet. I haven't played it yet myself, but I am going to play it.
I don't even know who the other receiver is for the Niners.
Juwan Jennings will
John
step
Jennings.
In there.
Okay, yeah. I mean, it's hard to replace a wide out like Brandon Ayuk. That guy is an absolute monster.
They did draft a rookie in Ronnie Bell out of Michigan, and he was incredible in the preseason. Now he's a preseason guy, made the team. He will get some run if Ayuk doesn't play. It'll be interesting. I wouldn't watch him for fantasy or anything like that, but he is a good receiver, good blocker. Played a little bit out of his mind. So I'm not saying it's not a loss. It is a loss not having Ayuk on the field the way Ayuk's played, but that should be fine.
And just real quick, this is Wednesday around 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'm looking at anytime touchdown for George Kittle and his plus 175.
Yeah.
Over under for George Kittle is 44.5 for receiving yards, and receptions for Kittle is 3.5, minus 140.
I am not always just an over better here, but I'd take the over on both of those and the anytime touchdown. I think he's going to have a nice game.
Hitting that right now.
There you go. Good play there. There's your Thursday night plays. George Kittle's.
It's officially on.
Kittle. I also bet the Niners as a little bonus to people.
But we have no
show,
Thursday bets
we don't have
here
Thursday
on the show.
Bets. No official.
We just handed out 4, but there's no Thursday bets.
Yeah, there you go. None.
So moving on here to Sunday, 1 o'clock slate. We'll start off with the Broncos and the Dolphins. Dolphins coming off a nice win on the road in Gillette Stadium. 6-point favorites for the Dolphins. I believe that opened 6.5. Correct me if I'm wrong there. Point total is at 48 total. What are your thoughts on this matchup? Awkward matchup, I might add.
Yeah, awkward. I lean Denver here. 0-2 teams, just desperation. You got to play with desperation. Miami is looking like the best team in the AFC from what I've seen through 2 weeks of football. They look great. They're going back home. It's their first home game. They played 2 close ones, though, and that's one thing that the 6 points is where the lean is for me. Also, going from 6 to 6.5 to 6 to 6.5 is what it's been doing since open.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, it just feels a little bait. It feels a little baity to me. 6.5 and the 6.
Sure.
You want to go take Miami. I just feel like this is the back door. Denver has not played well, let's face it.
No.
But they've played 2 on the score sheet, 2 close games, losing by 1 to the Raiders and losing by 2 to the Commanders, though it did take a Hail Mary and they completely blew that game. But that said, desperation mode for Denver. Can't imagine that Sean Payton doesn't have that team ready to compete. I don't think they win the game, but I think the number's right on here, so I'm staying away.
I do have a play on this one. This is going to be my first like.
All right, let's hear it.
Under 48 for this one for the Broncos and Dolphins. Dolphins have the Bills next week. Keep that one in mind. I forget if that's on the road or in Miami. I would assume it's in Miami, but I'm not sure. Either way, big divisional matchup next week with the Bills in week 4. And nice little tidbit here from the covers. Miami went under in 7 of their last 8 home games. And I think that speaks more towards the defense just being absolutely dominant at home, playing in that environment. So I could see them making Russell Wilson look a little bit silly, like he has over the past couple of seasons and so far this year. And I would expect this to be more of a running attack on both sides of the ball. I think that, the Patriots should have ran more last week against the Dolphins, and they just couldn't because of the offensive line woes. And I would expect the Broncos to kind of do that with both Javonte Williams and a little bit of Samaje Perine, but I would say Javonte Williams is more of a better pure runner than Perine there. But either way, that would chew up a lot of clock, so I would lean, or actually like the under in that one. So like under 48, that is my first official like for the Week 3 podcast.
All right.
Moving on to the Colts and the Ravens, and this one's kind of been moving a little bit here.
Sure is.
At the moment, the Ravens are 7.5-point favorites. I've seen this as high as 8.5, maybe 9 in some places. Total points on this one is 46. I think that the Ravens very well could be the best team in the AFC.
Okay.
I think they're right there with the Chiefs. Yep. I think that last week seemed to be a little more comfortable for Lamar Jackson and adapting to this new offensive system under Todd Monken. Mark Andrews looked really good in his return. And, I mean, they just went on the road in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
And they handily beat and competed with what should be the best team, or one of the best teams in the AFC, and obviously with the Joe Burrow injury, which we'll talk more about. They're showing me something. So I would lean on the Ravens here. No likes for me on this one. Oh, wait. No, I do. Excuse me.
Wow.
I do.
Forgetting your likes.
I do. Why don't you give your take first, and I'll give my like.
Excuse me there. I guess I'm the cougher this week. Baltimore is playing out of their minds to start the season. Granted, Houston didn't love the way they played in week 1. I did like the way they played in week 2 as a bounce back spot. I do think Miami's the best team in the AFC right now. And until
I would
further
say,
notice, I don't like what Kansas City is doing.
Okay, so I would say you have to go Chiefs. I'm sorry. You have to go Chiefs.
We can disagree.
It's early. It is early. You have to give them the benefit of the doubt.
I'm going to save my
figure
Chiefs
this out.
for the Chiefs game.
Fine. But just real quick, rankings for the AFC would be Chiefs, Dolphins, Ravens.
Yeah, I got
so the Ravens are like right there.
Yeah, I got Dolphins, Ravens, Chiefs.
Yeah.
Actually, I do have the Kansas City ahead of Baltimore in my actual power rankings, so I got to go by that.
So what are your thoughts on this game, though?
I too many question marks. Who's playing quarterback for the Colts? I don't know. I actually would prefer to see I don't know what I'd prefer to see from the Ravens. If I'm a Ravens bettor, I would do this. I would tease the Ravens. I have teased the Ravens, actually, down to 1.5 because I did it when it was 8 points. Did a little 6.5 point teaser. Excuse me. I did a 6-point teaser when they were 7.5 point favorites. Got that down to 1.5. Teased them with somebody else. Buffalo. And we'll get to that later. But I don't know who's playing quarterback for the Colts. I really don't care when it gets down to -1.5 in Baltimore. I don't think the Colts are winning that game. I think Baltimore is. But concussed Anthony Richardson last week. If he plays, Tucker, I can't imagine he's going to go out there running around, and that's where he's had great success, much to my... So,
I'm sorry, just real quick on the quarterback situation.
Yeah, Ian
Rappaport 2 hours ago said that Colts coach Shane Steichen told reporters that quarterback Anthony Richardson is in concussion protocol and won't practice today, which means it may be Gardner Minshew on Monday. So nothing official, but if he's in concussion protocol on Wednesday, I don't think he plays.
I actually like that more for the Colts. And I was just going to go here. Anthony Richardson, if he plays in this game, I think it's going to limit him running around, which is where his success is going to be.
He's not going to play.
If he's not playing, I like the Colts.
Going on the road in Baltimore, no chance he plays.
I think that's better for the Colts in this game, personally, than playing a banged-up Anthony Richardson, where he's not going to run and be effective that way. So lean to the Colts at 7.5, but I like the Ravens to win the game. Teased them, love that play, so that's where I'm leaning.
All right, so the like that I have on this one, and this moved, I think, from this morning. Point total that I liked earlier was 44. Now it's at 46.
Yeah, definitely a good hit.
But I am going to take the under on this one. Under 46 for the Colts and Ravens. The Ravens have gone under in 10 of their last 11 home games. And again, I still question, what their offense, the Colts offense is going to look like with Gardner Minshew. I like Minshew. I just don't know if he's capable of putting up 20 plus points against above average Ravens defense. I'd say in Baltimore, mind you.
I like the underplay here. Strong lean there to the under for me as well at 46.
Yeah, so that's my second like. I'm coming out of the gate firing likes.
Firing unders. Firing unders. You're going to watch football on Sunday and say, please, nothing happen. I don't want any action.
Just a quick aside, it wouldn't surprise me if you see a lot of unders on Sunday because of what all the players witnessed this past week with that horrendous injury. Like, don't you think going out in that field, I know it's your profession, but isn't there a little part of you who's like, oh crap, is my knee about to get blown out right now?
I don't think you can have that mindset if you're playing.
There's a little voice in your head. Maybe. There has to be.
There has to be, but those guys are built different. They're not me and you.
Oh, I know they're built different, but like, are you going to see a little, that's all. Are you going to see a little timidness out of these players? I mean, how can you not be rattled by that gruesome injury? I don't know. Yeah. That was just a thought I had. Wouldn't shock me if we saw a lot of low scoring on Sunday. That's all.
Not connecting those dots on this side, but I never really thought about it.
It's just a quick thought I had. That's all.
All right, little quick
thought. Continuing our 1 o'clock slate here, Texans on the road against the Jaguars. Is this another like for me?
Like for me here.
One. Okay. Yeah, this is a like for me as well.
Are we gonna have a double like, or are we going?
We might have a double like here.
Okay.
Actually, I don't know.
What side do you like?
Let me lay it out first.
Yeah.
So the Jaguars home against the Texans, 9.5 point favorites on DraftKings. What are you seeing on FanDuel?
8.5.
8.5. Okay, so 43.5 point total. I like the Texans.
Okay.
Plus 9.5.
Yep.
Jacksonville is 1-10 against the spread in their last 11 home games as a favorite.
Yep.
Sprinkle in the fact that this is a divisional game, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like these two teams always play each other pretty close over.
Houston beat them in Jacksonville last year.
Yeah, so I could see this being a very close game.
Yeah, this is my 5th like, so I'm going to start by saying that. In a week
I don't rank my likes.
This only got ranked because I'm like, and I did bet this. I bet every game that I talk about here, but I will say I did bet the 8.5 with the Jags. You are correct in those stats, and I've just blatantly ignored them, and the reason for it. And
so you're going against me.
Biggest thing here is cluster injuries for Houston on the offensive line. Jacksonville's defense has played awesome in their first 2 games. They held the Chiefs down last week after a good opening defensive performance. I like their defense. C.J. Stroud made improvements last week, I thought, in the loss against Indianapolis, but still like the Jags D at home. I do understand those stats, but I just feel like they're a totally different team. Even last year, towards when they were being favored, that's not the normal Jags team. It's 2 years ago, they were dreadful. So when they were favored, they still weren't a good team. It was just the other teams they were playing were not as talented. So all of that said, I do like the Jags in an absolute smash spot. Going to Jacksonville in September, still, you saw it limit Kansas City's offense last week. I think it happens again to Houston. This play is solely, and I mean solely, based on the cluster injuries for Houston on that offensive line.
They had 4 of their starters on the offensive line not playing last week.
Yeah, exactly. And that is...
And I don't know what their status is this week.
They're all questionable at the moment. So you could see guys play. I think they have 2 that are definitely not playing, leaning towards the definitely not playing. I just think that Jacksonville's got too much talent.
Okay. So this is going to sound weird, but I'm going to show you my laptop as proof.
Okay.
I miscounted.
Okay.
I have 5 likes, and I thought that was 5 there.
Yeah, you do. You're on the
Texans
bottom.
were my 6th like.
Okay, you just don't rank. That's why you got to rank your likes.
I got to rank them. I got to rank them.
Board.
I'm going to unlike.
Unlike that.
Hurley, I'm unliking it.
He doesn't want to fade me. He knows I'm hot.
Don't cut that out.
He knows I'm hot right now. He's like, I can't do this. This is 6 like.
Well, not to mention, I don't like going against each other on this.
Yeah, no, I get it.
But I'm just showing you my laptop.
No, you're
proof.
right. He is right.
It was my 6th like.
It is on the bottom.
It's right there. You can see that on that screen.
Yeah. So remove that one.
I am removing that one, but I'm stating the fact that Jacksonville is 1-10 against the spread in their last home games as a favorite.
They need a smash spot. They need a smash spot, and it's Houston. A tough game against Kansas City. You're staying at home. Houston comes to town, rookie quarterback.
Not to mention the low-scoring affair that happened last week with
That
the
was
Chiefs.
actually stunning.
Yeah, what was that, 51 points or something?
Yeah, it was high, and they came nowhere near it. The Jags D was good. They're flying around the field. The problem is, or was, Trevor Lawrence. Like, again.
I didn't watch a ton of the game, I'll be honest.
We're getting the hype. I get the hype. I understand it. But Trevor Lawrence, man, get out there and bury the Texans this week. Would you please? Well, this is the spot to do it. 8.5 on FanDuel. Go get him.
This is a big Travis Etienne game.
Yeah, I
think
Travis Etienne. I like
week.
Etienne as well.
I know that he got a little banged up last week, but
cramps.
I think he'll be fine.
I think it was just cramps.
I think that's might have been a dehydration thing or whatever. Yeah.
A little hot in Jacksonville. A little hot.
Excuse me.
Sorry, we're coughing.
I wish we had cough buttons here. But
cough button. Cough.
All right, so let's move on. Bills on the road in Commanders. Washington's first home game of the year, I believe. 6.5 point home dogs for the Commanders. 44.5 points for this one. And this was very, very close to being a like for me.
Oh, seventh? Seventh like?
Seventh. This was very close.
Seventh like.
It's a strong lean towards the Commanders. 6.5 covering home against the Bills.
Okay. I strong lean as well there.
Yeah. Bills, again, like I mentioned, on the road, or excuse me, facing the Dolphins next week, big divisional game. So it's kind of a look ahead
in
spot.
Buffalo, by the way.
In Buffalo. So you got to like that. And by the way, the Commanders look solid.
Sam Howell, man. Sam Howell magic.
Yeah, he looks like a decent game manager so far. They got some decent offensive weapons. Brian Robinson Jr. is looking great. Antonio Gibson had a nice scamper last week. I still know he's kind of got trust issues with the coaching staff there, but nice defense too out of the Commanders. So I think that they can keep this one close. I think 6.5 is way too much and kind of looks like it's a trap for the casual bettor, if you will, to see, a casual bettor who just sees 6.5 favoring the Bills, taking on the Commanders, who have been a joke franchise over the years. I could see that totally being a trap.
Yeah.
So give me a strong lean towards the Commanders in that one for me. Anything else on this game?
No, not much here. I did, like I said earlier, I teased Buffalo with the teased Buffalo with the Ravens.
Okay.
So if you were looking for a teaser play, 6-point teaser right there, get you the Bills just a half point. Think they're going to win the game. The 6.5 is a lot. The reason I didn't bet this game, I realized last week, I actually think Ron Rivera is the worst coach in the NFL right now. I think he's the worst coach in the NFL. He's just clueless out there. He's just like,
I think he's pretty good.
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
He gets the locker room jazzed up, it seems, and gets them ready to play at least.
Maybe. I look at him and sometimes even in week 1 against Arizona, like he's just looking around. I'm like, does this guy even know like what's going on anymore out there? There's something about him. I'm like, I just don't like him as a coach. I just don't know. So we got fire engines going on.
Was that just an 18-wheeler we heard?
18-wheeler? What? Good background noise. I hope that gets picked up on the pod.
I hope that got picked up.
Hope so.
Some guys out there like, Jesus Christ, move your car.
Somebody like
double park.
They like Buffalo. They like Buffalo.
Yeah, or they're back in Buffalo. Yeah.
So just a lean for me. I don't know. I just don't trust him. Eric Bieniemy doing a nice job with the offense, for sure.
I apologize for the coughs. I've had these allergies for like a month now.
Yeah, it's killing me too. Allergies brutal in the Boston area. High pollen count.
Yeah, pollen's too damn high. All right, so moving on to the Patriots and Jets on the road in the Meadowlands. Jets 3-point home dogs here. I've seen this line move from anywhere from 3 to 2.5, favoring the Patriots. Point total is currently at 36.5. On Monday morning, I bet under 38 when this came out. So that is trending in my direction there. I don't know how we feel about 36.5 though, but Patriots, they have won 14 straight against the Jets, and I think.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, some whatever it is, they've been dominating the Jets.
Yep,
naturally.
sure have.
As a Patriots fan, this is the lowest confidence level I've had in a while in this team.
Understood.
And heading into the season, I had this as a 9-win team. I bet the over 7.5. like the majority of people, I think it was like 90+% were on the over for the Patriots, which kind of scared me a little bit. But this offense, whether it's the offensive line or the receivers, is just so dated.
Yeah.
And hopefully they get back Trent Brown this week. That would be a big add, especially against this Jets defense. I have not looked at the injury report. I know that they came to a contract extension or revised contract for Trent Brown, so that looks good. But it's just one of the slowest one-dimensional offensives I've seen out of the Patriots in a while, let alone just the NFL overall. It's just such a dated offense. So I'm staying away from this game, but I don't feel good about it at all.
Yeah.
My gut says that, like, they'll probably win. They'll probably win. It's going to be a very low-scoring game. I think both teams are going to try to run the ball. I think that the Jets are going to at least try and see what they get out of Breece Hall and stay away from Zach Wilson throwing into a Bill Belichick defense. I mean, that's the other thing, too. That's been frustrating is that the defense looks good.
Yeah.
They look very good, but then they just get gassed because they're on the field 90% of the time, it seems like, because the offense can't put a drive together. So as a non-Patriots fan, what are your thoughts on this game?
I did bet this game, but I'm not giving it out as a play because the line's moved, and at current odds, I can't find a 3 that's not completely juiced. So I did bet the Jets +3. I make the game Pats.
I don't blame you.
Pats.
I thought about taking the Jets, honestly.
I don't think that you're telling me, what I keep going back to is this. You're telling me that on a neutral field, the Patriots are 6 points better than the Jets right now, today. I can't get there. I think the Pats I have them as a 1-point favorite. You're giving me 2 points of value at 3, which I think this game could very much land 2 or 3. So I did bet the Jets. It's not a play right now because, again, right now, Showtime on DraftKings is the only place I can see a 3 from the outs that I have, which I use about 12 different outs. +3 is -118. I'm not telling you that. Wait till the 110. I think it will pop, but every time it keeps getting 3-110, people are hitting the Jets, myself included there. That's the number I want with the Jets. It's just it's not that I don't think the Jets can win this game, but I want to feel a little safe there. Look, the Jets last week, when they played the Cowboys, just abandoned the run. I don't know if that was like a zig when you think I'm going to zag. Maybe they thought, like, hey, we got to just get out there and throw the ball a lot more because Dallas is going to expect us to run the ball with Zach Wilson at quarterback, so we're going to give him his chance to set back, fire out, and throw. Bad idea, okay? Get the ball to your best player in Breece Hall. Get Dalvin Cook more involved. They know he fumbled and he's struggling a little bit. Get his feet under him. You have a good 1-2 combo there, and, Garrett Wilson's still there. Yeah. Like, they still have pieces. That defense, I don't know how. I like the under. I look at the under too. I don't even know how we're getting to 36.5. This
is like a 17, kind of similar to the Chiefs and Jaguars last week. Honestly, like this might be a 17-9, something like
17-14 is about where I have this. So I'm not giving it out as a play. I did bet the Jets +3 -110. If that pops, feel free to play it. It won't be on my official card, but there you go. That's
and then just real quick from Evan Lazar of Patriots.com, who's a very, very good writer. He tweeted this earlier today. This stat really sums up the Patriots offense right now. They've had 16 drives end on the opponent's side of the 50-yard line, tied most in the NFL. However, they've only come away with points on 6 of them.
That's just awful.
The second lowest rate in the league, 37.5%.
They need to take more chances. Throw the ball downfield. Stop.
They can't.
Well, you got to try.
That's why they drafted Tyquan Thornton, who can't stay in the friggin' field. They took the fastest guy in the draft, who might be another bust. Shocker. From Bill Belichick draft.
Yeah, the draft room.
The guy can't draft wide receivers. Meanwhile, you got Matt Stafford over in L.A., who's throwing Puka Nacua, 5th-round wide receiver, into the next Cooper Kupp and Tutu Atwell into Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
Matthew Stafford is unbelievable with these wide receivers.
Yeah, just get him a guy.
The Patriots just can't develop a wide receiver to
Their offense.
It's just maddening.
You said it best. They're running an offense from the 90s.
And I know they drafted, developed Julian Edelman, but
give me a little Pop Douglas on the field. How will you not bench the guy for trying to make a play? Bradley Chubb made an unbelievable play.
Yeah.
We can't just bench him. I'm sorry.
It's like enough of the benching over the fumbles. You don't have that.
Fan,
you don't have that luxury. You do not have that luxury.
I had Miami, and I was pissed off for Pats fans.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a very
insane.
That's some of the most angry I've been. I don't get super angry watching sports anymore.
I do.
Yeah, I know you do. But I was really pissed on Sunday night. Really pissed.
Yeah, I get it.
Because they should have just pounded the run and they couldn't establish it. And Miami just played right into their what's the word I'm looking for? Just discouraging offense.
Yeah.
Just absolutely flat offense.
One thing I will mention before we turn the page on this game, and I should have said it when it was Miami, Tua made a couple unbelievable throws in that game.
Yeah, is he still tied for with Mahomes for MVP?
He's the lead right now.
He's in the lead. Wow.
Yeah. Tua
Stay healthy, Tua.
He looked good. That's all.
All right, moving on. Atlanta on the road in Detroit. I've had a lot of mixed feelings on this one. Detroit, 3.5-point favorites seemingly without David Montgomery, who went down last week. It's going to be Jahmyr Gibbs and Craig Reynolds. 46.5-point totals here. What are you looking at on this? Any likes from you on this one?
No likes here. Lean to Atlanta's side at the 3.5. I also saw Amon-Ra St. Brown today as a toe injury, not practicing. Don't know his status.
If that's turf toe, that's going to be an issue.
That's what scares me. Hope it's not.
Yeah, turf toe sucks.
Yeah, you don't want that.
I've never had it.
You don't want it. I've never had it either, but every NFL guy that gets it seemingly sucks.
I don't know how I would get it. I don't walk on turf.
Well, that's true.
Or run on turf.
Well,
I don't run at all.
You're pretty safe then. You're pretty safe then.
I just never do anything active.
Yeah, no, active is just
Does golf
overrated.
Count?
Golf counts, yeah.
Actually, I do go on turf when I'm indoor golfing.
Well, there you go. So you could get turf toe while indoor golfing at the simulator. That could be a problem this winter.
It could be. So I'll be on the lookout for that one.
Yeah, watch yourself. Watch your step there, Tuck. I lean Atlanta. I like what Atlanta's doing. I hate Desmond Ridder, but they still keep putting up points, winning games. They're running this kind of 90s offense a little bit where they run first, but they're coming at you with different schemes, and I kind of like it. Tyler Algier, Bijan out of the backfield.
Yeah, Bijan's a beast, man.
I mean, that guy's
We're going to
awesome.
be saying that every week.
Yeah, I know. He's nasty. Can we just get Kyle Pitts the ball?
I don't get it.
I don't understand. Does he suck, or is it? It's got to be Ridder, right? I mean, I don't know.
It seems like he's just in Arthur Smith's doghouse for some reason.
The ball.
One of the most talented athletes in the NFL, I would say.
Freak
or
show.
one of the most pure athletes, not even like talented.
Don't
just
even
like,
understand
look at the
it.
guy.
Don't even understand it.
He's a freak. But he just can't get involved in this offense. And Drake London, he scored last week,
He
right?
did. He got in there
so
finally.
that was encouraging to see. But no plays for me on this one. I probably would lean Detroit on this one.
Give me a 3 with Detroit, and I lean that way. But the 3.5 plus.
3.5 doesn't feel great.
Hook. Numbers.
Yeah, I'm curious to see the usage for Jahmyr Gibbs out of the backfield there. But I like the fact that this is home in Detroit. Oh, by the way, massive injury to the Lions secondary there with CJ Garner.
CJ, yeah.
Big loss. He was a nice free agent acquisition in the offseason.
Yep.
They tried to address the secondary, much needed. And he's out for the season. So,
well, Dan Campbell again today came out and said he may not be out for the season.
Oh,
the
really?
injury's
Okay.
pretty clean, apparently.
What was it?
A pec.
Torn pec. That's what it was.
Still not great. I don't
Whatever
know.
it is, it's a very lengthy absence.
Yeah, not good.
All right, let's move on here. Yeah, that was one of the more confusing feels overall for week 3 for me, just real quick on the Lions and Falcons there. So curious to see how that one plays out.
Yep.
Saints on the road in Green Bay right now. Packers favored by 2.5 points. I saw this earlier as 2 points. So this is moving in the Packers' direction even more so. Point total is at 42. I was very close to taking the Packers as 2 points here. I did not, however. I did have a quick note, I thought, but no, I don't. But either way, this is the Packers' first home game at Lambeau. Jordan Love looking like a very capable quarterback in this league, surprisingly so. Like what I'm seeing out of him. Christian Watson, I don't know if he's going to be coming back this week remains to be seen. Aaron Jones, he was out last week with a hammy. Don't know what his status is. So overall, I'm staying away from this one. But on the Saints side of the ball, they looked all sorts of frustrated on offense the other night.
Yeah.
The other night against the Panthers on the road.
Yep. Bada bing, bada boom. Give me a like. Love Green Bay in the spot. Got him at 1.5. Gonna give you him at 2 because that's a consensus across the board. DraftKings a little high on 2.5 right now. You can get 2s at MGM, FanDuel,
So you don't
Caesar,
like 2.5?
I'm not going to give it out at 2.5 when I can get a 2 in the market. That's all I'm saying. I can't see a 1.5 anymore. That's what I played him at. 2 is fine. I would play it at 2.5. Give me anything under a field goal, to be honest. But play the better number if you have different notes. Love Green Bay in this spot. Like you said, first game at Lambeau. I think Aaron Jones is going to go. If he doesn't, I'm still not worried about it. I do think Christian Watson, they're going to get him back. If they don't, again, still not worried about it. Like you said, Jordan Love's playing well. He's making like a Jalen Reed all of a sudden look good.
Romeo Doubs is back. Luke Musgrave, I think he has a touchdown this game.
It's about the defense. It's a short week for the Saints. Going to Lambeau. Yep. Just the Packers, I just like what they're doing. I like what Green Bay's doing here. The defense is playing well. And for me, like you said, I was on Carolina Monday night, and one of the glaring things was the Saints. They are frustrated on offense. They cannot run the ball without Kamara back there.
Oh, and by the way, in Week 4, big divisional game with the Saints taking on the Bucs at home on that one. So it might be a nice little look ahead spot for the Saints here, looking past the Packers.
I like the Packers big here. This was close to my best bet. If it didn't move off 1.5, it would have been my best bet.
Yeah, I originally had Packers on my document here, but I did take them off because I did not know the status of Christian Watson.
Yeah, I get that. I get
Aaron
that.
Jones.
I think they're going to get him back, but it's not confirmed.
Right. All right, moving on here. So that's your first like, correct? Or second like?
That would be my second like.
Okay, so I have 2 likes and you have 2 likes. Okay, so we're good. Yep. Moving on here, Chargers and the Vikings. This is the highest point total on the Week 3 slate at 54. I've seen it as high as 54.5. Vikings currently 1-point favorites here. Both 0-2. Very disappointing teams here. Brandon Staley is very much on the hot seat. I don't know if you've seen the odds on first coach fired in the NFL.
He should be the favorite.
He should be the favorite because
he shouldn't have started with them.
That team should be 2-0 right now.
Yeah.
With that offense. Even without Eckler last week.
Yeah.
You should have absolutely won.
Yep.
Very frustrating. And then the Minnesota Vikings, one of the best offseason acquisitions was bringing on Brian Flores as defensive coordinator. Mm-hmm. Doesn't seem like it's a Flores defense right now. They look completely lost on defense, just getting absolutely torched in their first 2 games here. So I really want to play the over on this one. You know what? It actually is an over for me. This is my third like.
Yeah. We're going to see
for
points.
54 here. This might be one of the highest scoring games the entire year, honestly.
Yeah.
Both teams have combined to hit the over in 76% of the games following a defeat. And again, I mentioned the crap defenses that we've seen from both sides here. Chargers have absolutely no secondary, it seems like. They do have a couple of playmakers, but just holes all around in that secondary, it seems like. And again, just the Vikings look completely lost here. So that will be my third like, over 54 for this one. This is going to be a ton of points here.
All right, Tuck. I have a like on this game as well. And you could say I like pain because betting the side on this game is,
You're on the Chargers.
is a psychotic. I am absolutely not on the Chargers.
Okay.
This game, so first of all, this game is all over the market. So MGM, Caesars, you get right now, you can get Minnesota +1. The Chargers are favored on DraftKings, so I'm taking Sirens
now we're in
again.
Sirens.
Sirens, is that like a...
I thought we were on the third floor.
Every like, I get a siren. It's like, I like this. Good or bad. I'm taking the Vikings +1 at home. I think they're the better team. And
I'm seeing -1.
They're +1 on for MGM. That's
Wow,
where I bet
okay.
them right now. +1, you can get it. And you can see the screen right here, Tuck. Little +1 MGM. They did cash that ticket or bet that. Ready to cash that
confirmed,
ticket.
Confirmed. We're sharing each other's laptops a lot this show.
Yeah, that's what we got to do. So, hey, again, play numbers, find numbers, have different outs because numbers matter. They absolutely matter. The Vikings are the better team. I'm getting a point. Look,
Vikings are
now,
better than this.
Right now, I have to tell you this. The Chargers are the worst pass defense in the NFL, giving up 333 yards a game through the air. Everyone says, oh, you can run all over the Chargers. They're actually middle of the way. The Vikings don't run the ball well. They're the worst rushing team.
Alexander Madison's been disappointing.
Disappointing. The whole team's been disappointing running the ball. They can't do it, and they haven't done it. So, that said, they're just running for 34.5 yards a game, Tuck. It's like they almost gave up. They don't care. But what are they doing? They're chucking in the ball around. Kirk Cousins, second in the league in passing yards per game. He's thrown for 337 yards per game. And the Chargers giving up 333 yards a game. Absolute worst. And that includes with Ryan Tannehill against you. So, Kirk Cousins and the boys, Justin Jefferson's going to have a massive, massive game. Yeah. I think the Vikings, I like your overplay. I think Minnesota is going to be unstoppable. And I have to get this off my chest because I've been a Justin Herbert truther. I'm not sure he's an elite quarterback anymore. I can't. How many times I got to look at this guy?
It's like
and
we
you have
keep
all the
waiting
tools,
and waiting on Herbert.
All the tools. You got the ball first in overtime last week, and you didn't get the job done. Not even a field goal. Nothing. You punt. So you know what? Like, I'm kind of done with him. He's got all the weapons in the world. Everyone makes excuses. We all talk about Brandon Staley. Yes, he's an awful coach. Yes, he should have been fired after the Jags lost in the playoffs last year. But he gets no blame. He walks around like there's absolutely, like, he's like perfect. He's like his perfect child. And like, I get it. He was a little banged up last year. What's your excuse this year, Justin? I just can't believe that you couldn't go win that game last week. You had the Titans on the ropes. You didn't put them away. You get the ball in OT. You didn't win the game. And now Minnesota's a team that you should go light up. Light up. But he won't. Yeah. He won't. And Minnesota's going to win this game. +1 Minnesota. Very strong like.
I might add that Austin Eckler, still no timeline on that ankle injury. So
that's the other thing.
I mean, this seems like this should be like 3.5 for the Vikings, honestly. I don't.
You can see there are spots that it's already -1.5 with the Vikings. It just depends on where you're looking. So, again, look for the best numbers, have multiple outs because numbers matter. If you can get the Vikings at plus money, it's that you have to play that.
All right, so 2 likes for us in that matchup. Yep. I am on the over 54, and Matt is on the Vikings +1. He would still take them at -1, -1.5, correct?
Yeah, I would. Okay. I take them anything under a field goal, but actually probably upwards to 2. Let's not go crazy. I make the game Minnesota -3. So.
All right. Moving on here to the 4 o'clock slate. Panthers on the road in Seattle. Seattle bouncing back in a nice way last week on the road in Detroit, like you called. Seattle, 6-point favorites here, 42-point total. What are your thoughts on this one?
Best bet, Seattle Seahawks -5.5 at FanDuel right now. Play that one. Seattle, best bet. Look, I was on Carolina and Seattle last week. Feel like I have a really good read on both of these teams right now early in the year, and I'm going to continue to ride what I know. Seattle going back home against Carolina, short week. Carolina had their first home game, Monday Night Football. I bet Carolina thinking they'd be a little bit better on offense. Bryce Young, first home game, get a little bit more out of you. Nothing. That team was gross until the final drive.
Their offense kind of looks similar to the Patriots in terms of their receivers.
It's brutal. But at least
like you got like a 33-year-old Adam Thielen, and
the whole offense is new.
Like Jonathan Mingo needs some grooming.
Mingo's young.
Miles Sanders is fine.
But he's there.
Right.
Seattle's going to bury this team.
Yeah.
This is like, I really
Is this their first home game?
Second. They did play the Rams.
That's what was. Okay.
This is back to the overreaction. Play week 2 is about a bunch of overreactions for me after week 1, right? So going back to this, Sean McVay just owns Seattle, just like Kyle Shanahan owns Sean McVay. It's just how it works out west. So don't fall for this. Seattle's a much better team than the Carolina Panthers. Carolina's still young.
Panthers are bottom 5 team.
Gross. Yeah, they're going to be gross. They'll come up in spots at home. That's where you want to back Carolina. You don't want to back them on the road. Going up to the Pacific Northwest, this is a game that Seattle's just going to put their hands around their throat and strangle.
Yep.
Like Seattle, I expect to win this game closer to 2 touchdowns. I make the game 8.5. So give me Seattle.
So you would like this all the way up to 8.5?
I wouldn't like it at 8.5. But I make the game 8.5.
What about 6.5?
I'd make it a full touchdown. I'd bet it at a touchdown.
7.5.
I make it a touchdown. We're starting to get dicey.
9.
No, not 8, not 11, 8 or 9. No. 11. We like the Panthers.
All right, so that's your best bet.
Yeah, best bet, Seattle Seahawks, -5.5 on FanDuel.
Yeah, it was nice to see Kenneth Walker get a couple of touchdowns there. Had him in daily fantasy last week. DK Metcalf just fell short of a touchdown as well. He did leave the game. I don't know if he returned with a rib injury. Right. He played through it, right?
He played.
And then Tyler Lockett was Tyler Lockett.
Yeah, he's fine, huh?
I would expect this to be a Jackson Smith and Jigba game.
Yeah, I was expecting a little more out of JSN last week. He had a touchdown opportunity that went through his hands, and he went to
I think this is a nice spot for him. Curious to see what his props would be.
They're putting him back in. They're starting to mix him in a little bit more.
It feels like a nice anytime touchdown for him.
Could be. It's coming. You'll get a good price. He'll be over 300.
Yeah, I might hit that. They're not available at the moment. 425 game, Dallas Cowboys on the road in Arizona. We mentioned this earlier. Arizona blew a massive lead against the Giants, but they competed their asses off. So I'll give them that. And they did what they needed to do, which was lose.
Yes, you want to lose.
You need to lose to get that number 1 overall pick. I've seen this as high as 12.5 favoring the Cowboys. At the moment on DraftKings, it is 11.5 for the Cowboys. 43.5 point totals here. This was a lean for me, close to being a like for me for the Cowboys. Cowboys have the Patriots next week, which I don't think is a big worry if I'm the Cowboys.
Soft first month
Cowboys
schedule.
Cowboys look like a top 3 NFC team right now.
Yeah, no, I agree.
This might finally be the Cowboys' year to emerge out of the NFC.
Possibly.
Just saying.
See you in week 5, Dallas, when you play a real football team. Your first month is just scheduled.
That might be one of the highest rated games
Sunday night football
of the season. We'll see. But we'll talk about that in week 5. For this one, strong lean for the Cowboys, 11.5 point. I think they take care of business and get the hell out of there.
Yeah.
And Arizona poured everything they had into that game last week. I would have this as closer to like a 14-point favorite for the Cowboys.
Yeah. I think that's fair too. I have a higher number on this game, but I'm not betting it. Arizona's competing, like you said. I don't want to bet against them. I do think Dallas should put their foot down and crush this team, though. But I'm staying away.
I will note that I'm sorry. I have a habit of touching the mic, and it keeps going in and out. I apologize.
I'm sorry.
It sounds.
I'm
terrible. Sorry, Hurley.
Terrible.
I will note that Dak has thrown 17 picks in his last 16 road games, and the Cardinals have a pick in their first 2 games so far this year. So that's a little nugget there.
Little Dak, yes, interception. Prop?
No, I'm not there.
All right.
No. Let me see here. Moving ahead, the disappointing Chicago Bears, led by Justin Fields. Seems like we're seeing the Justin Fields of 2022 on the road in Kansas City. 12.5 points, 47.5 points overall on this one. And this is going to be my 4th like. Chiefs -12.5.
Okay.
Bears, they are 6-15 against the spread in their last 21 games as a road underdog. And I feel like this is going to be a nice breakout spot for the Chiefs to finally figure it out and get over whatever they have been going through with this. I don't know if it's a Super Bowl hangover or it's just a result of Travis Kelce being banged up or anything. And I think this is a game where Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes get their offense right. This is a perfect get-right spot with a struggling Bears offense who cannot figure it out. I mentioned Fields last year, looking like Fields of early last year. I've never seen a quarterback hold the ball and second-guess himself more than Justin Fields.
I can't.
I don't know if he's a legit NFL quarterback. It's so infuriating, too, because he finally became that offense overall looked very good last year when they finally figured out that, let's just play the Justin Fields strength, which is scrambling and designing
Let him play.
runs.
Yeah.
But they're trying to pound home the fact that he should be this pocket passer, which he's not.
He's not, yeah.
So I don't think this is the spot for the Bears to make that change.
Nope.
Going on the road into Arrowhead. So this is my 4th like. Chiefs -12.5. What say you?
I'll tell you what I say. I lean the Chiefs here as well. I think that's the right side. I'm not betting it, but I will tell you what I'm not doing is betting the Bears either. after last week, you cost me a perfect week, Justin. Your terrible passes, not seeing wide open receivers. Then you throw a perfectly thrown ball to Chase Claypool for a touchdown through 2 defenders. Like, you could not have thrown the ball better. So on one hand, you see him do that, and you're like, no, he's got it. He's just going to stop holding the ball so much. But I think you said it best. Stop making him pocket passer. Let him be Justin Fields. And if he gets hurt, you got to live with it because you're not winning by letting him be a pocket passer. It's just not going to happen. You're going to need a new quarterback again. It's just the way it is. DJ Moore visibly frustrated out there, wide open on multiple plays that he's not getting the ball. And it seems like Fields is looking at him when you're looking at this. Absolutely awful performance from Justin Fields last week. If he does anything in that game, not only do they cover, but they probably win. Ugh, just disgusted with them. Can't bet the Bears. It's a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah, not to mention they just like strangely made Donta Foreman inactive. In that
yeah,
one
like
too.
Roshan Johnson. Like,
let's see more of him.
Good in Texas, and I like to see him in the NFL. Like, he's getting the ball a little bit out of the pack field at PPR leagues. Starting to be noticed a little bit, catching that ball.
Before we move to the nighttime Sunday night game with the Steelers and Raiders, I do want to mention the 1 o'clock game that I missed.
You skipped it.
I skipped it, and I don't know how I could skip it because it's my best bet.
Ah.
Titans on the road to take on the Cleveland Browns. 39-point total here. Best bet for me. My best best bet.
Best bet.
Titans +3. Give me that.
All right.
Titans, they are 13-5-1 against the spread in 19 games as an underdog. And the Browns, they are 3-9 against the spread in their last 12 as a favorite. This I do not understand whatsoever. Vrabel is going to make Deshaun Watson look silly. I think that Deshaun Watson, since he's made his return or his debut on the Browns going back to last year and coming off his, year and a half absence in the NFL, he is still as rusty as I have ever seen him. He looks completely lost.
Yep.
Now you're going to try and right the ship without a Nick Chubb and going against Mike Vrabel? Nope, not going to happen. I don't know if the Titans win this one, but I think they can certainly cover 3 points here. So what are your thoughts on this?
I lean Tennessee. Every Titans game is within 3 points. Like, every single game, they're within 3. It's like, if the Titans are within 3, you get more than 3 and betting the Titans. That's how I feel about them at this point. I don't even care where they're playing, it looks like. Like, they just keep games close, and for that reason, I lean Tennessee. But I don't know what to expect from Cleveland. I saw they signed Kareem Hunt today. I don't expect him to play, but
I don't put much into Kareem Hunt, honestly. I think he's kind of cooked.
I think he's cooked as well. I liked what I saw at Ford the other night, but I think that having a guy that knows the offense come in, I think makes a lot of sense for them.
It's a desperation signing.
Yeah, what do you do, right? It's week 3 and you need a running back. So you make a signing of someone that knows the offense. Do you like that? That is irrelevant for this week. But like I said, no strong play here for me. Just the Titans, anything within a field goal feels good.
And both teams, looking ahead to week 4, have pivotal matchups. Browns face the Ravens at home next week, and the Titans are home against the Bengals, which we'll talk about in a moment. But that is my 5th and final Titans +3 for me.
Best bet.
All right, so let's bounce back to the Steelers and Raiders Sunday Night Football. Raiders, 2.5-point favorites. Don't know the status of Davante Adams in this one. Keep an eye on that one. 43.5 points here. I would lean the Steelers on this one. Nice win on Monday Night Football. They still need a lot to figure out with the offense overall. Nice to see George Pickens have a nice touchdown there.
Yep.
Najee Harris was invisible, but they seem to have a nice connection with Jaylen Warren out of the backfield. What say you on this one?
I bet this game, but again, it's not a number that exists anymore. I had the Raiders +1 at open, and I like that play a lot. I think
+1.
+1. I think they're going to win this game, but I don't like it as it creeps up to 2.5, 3. That's scaring me. It's up to 3 in some spots, which is crazy in favor of the Raiders. So happy with my bet, seeing some closing line value on this one, but we'll see. That doesn't always equate to a win. So lean to the Raiders. I think they win a close game, Sunday Night Football, being at home. But like you said, I think Devontae Adams is going to play, but we'll see. TBD on that. Josh Jacobs, could you have been worse last week? 9 yards?
Yeah, that's just a game script.
But just gross. We talked about how they should go out there and run to stay in the game.
Yeah, they got away from it.
You can't do that with Jimmy G. That's a weakness.
Josh Allen was died again last week.
Yeah, he's trying. He's trying so hard.
What was that hurdle?
He's just an animal.
I don't get what that hurdle was.
He's got to stop it.
I have no idea. But
we're pleading with you, Josh, to stop it.
It does look like Devontae Adams is going to be good to go after being evaluated for concussion, but still keep an eye on that. And doesn't look like Jacoby will be playing for this one. Jacoby Myers.
Yep.
So keep an eye on that one. I'm not 100% on his status for that. For me, it's a lean for the Steelers, not a 2.5.
Yep.
That's all.
Okay.
Monday Night Football, another two-headed monster on Monday night.
Love this. Can I go on a little rant here? Can we cancel Thursday Night Football and give me doubleheader Monday Night Football every week? I absolutely love it.
I didn't hate it.
Loved it.
In the past, I've hated it.
Loved it. Give me 2 games to watch. I love it. I can flick, start one a little bit early.
It seems like this is where they're going to go.
The Monday Night Football game totally sucks in the past, and you're just stuck there with one. If you give me 2 games that absolutely suck, fine. It's still 2 football games. I'm in. I love it. Thursday Night Football, crap product, though I won't complain because I'm a gambler and I'm a sports degenerate and I love the NFL. And if you're giving me an extra day to watch a game, I'm in. But if you get rid of Thursday Night Football, give me a doubleheader Monday night, I'd sign up for that today.
Well, this is a tremendous doubleheader from Monday Night Football, I might say.
Yep.
Buccaneers, they are currently 4.5-point home dogs here. I did see this as high as 5.5. 5.5.
Still get 5.5.
So DraftKings currently has them at 4.5. So some money coming in on the Bucs there as of Wednesday afternoon. Point total is 45.5. Might add that the Eagles next week, they are taking on who the hell are they playing?
Next week?
Yeah.
I don't have that in front of me.
I had this in my notes and I can't find it right now.
The Eagles are playing the Commanders next week.
Okay, so that's a nice divisional game. So that is something you got to keep the
Bucs
keep
got
an
the
eye
Saints.
on.
Bucs got the Saints in New Orleans.
So both teams, it's kind of similar to the last game we talked about with the what was it? The Browns and Titans.
Yep.
So I would lean towards the Buccaneers in this one. I'm very surprised by what I've seen in this team so far, especially with Mike Evans and his connection with Baker Mayfield, because there's a real connection there. I mean, he looks like an absolute stud. So I don't know. It's a lean for me. I have no likes in this one. I'm out of likes, but what do you think?
Let me ask you this, Tuck. On a neutral, who you like better right now, the Patriots or the Bucs?
The Bucs.
Same. Why is this line 5.5 in Tampa? They were 4.5 in New England. Doesn't make sense.
Disrespect.
I like Tampa. It's my 5th like. 5.5 on MGM right now. Like it, played it, love it. The Tampa's playing really well.
So what do you think of 4.5?
Still like, but not as much.
Okay.
It starts to get dicey once you get close to the 4 number.
Continue.
I make the Eagles 4-point favorites in this game. I think that's what we're going to get. I think you're going to get a close Eagles win. I don't like what I've seen from Philly to start this season. I thought Jalen Hurts played another poor game.
Yeah, they look shaky.
They don't look the same. They're definitely going through this we see it every year with these teams, and we were on this before the season. We bet Dallas to win the NFC East. I told you there's some regression coming out of Philly, and I think they're lucky to be 2-0. I fell asleep on the Thursday night game and thought it was a snooze fest as they started burying Minnesota.
Yeah.
And then I wake up and I'm like, I got to rewatch this. What the hell happened? What happened is Philly's pass defense is atrocious, and it's a real problem when they go to Tampa on Monday night, because I'll tell you this, the Bucs defense is, I don't know if it's as good as New England's, but it's not far off. And if they hold Philly in that 24-point range, this is going to be a lot closer than you want, and that you're going to feel comfortable with as an Eagles fan. Love the Bucs getting 5.5 at home. Monday Night Football, again, the home dog Monday Night Football. Give me that trend. I'll take those points.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be a close game, but
Bucs have solid. We all know the Bucs have solid offensive weapons. The quarterback has just been the question mark here. But if he's showing up and
keep playing,
looking legit, then it's working.
Get the ball to your weapons, and you can do something that Brady couldn't do towards the end. Just get the ball downfield consistently. He's throwing the ball up to Mike Evans. It's working. Keep it going. And this is a team you got to throw on, so keep it going.
Also, there was that one stretch where the Eagles ran, 12 straight times in the second quarter?
Yeah. because
What the hell was that about?
Well, that was because Brian Flores was playing two safeties back, and they're like, "You're not going to beat us deep," and that's how the Eagles succeed. They throw deep. They AJ Brown,
So
Devonta
they're like,
Smith,
okay,
and then
we're
every
just gonna
time,
run.
and every time they didn't, he would take a deep shot to Devonta Smith, and they scored one touchdown on that. And he's like, "All right, the hell with it. We're going back to this double safety back and make you run the ball against us." They did it, and Vikings couldn't stop it, and that ended up being the game.
Final game on the slate here in the second Monday Night Football window. This is another confusing one for me. Rams on the road in Cincinnati. An 0-2 reeling Cincinnati team are 2.5 point favorites. 43.5 point total here. Joe Burrow re-aggravated his calf injury, which I hate to see.
Yep.
I mean, he's one of my favorite quarterbacks in the NFL. I think he plays just because he's Joe Burrow and he's tough as nails. I don't understand this line. 2.5 point favorites against that Rams team right now.
Couple things I can say in this game.
Okay.
The line's telling me Joe Burrow's not playing, and if he does play, he's not going to be effective. That's what we saw.
I'm sorry, 2.5 is telling you that Joe Burrow's not going to play.
Yes.
Why?
Because I would suspect that this game would be at high. Like right now, I think if Joe Burrow doesn't play,
I would have the Rams as a favorite.
They're gonna close the favorite at -1. I think there's a little bit of like we're not sure, and if he does play, there's some inconsistency. So you're not losing a full touchdown, which is what I'd give Joe Burrow, and if he missed this game, essentially, right?
Right.
Well, now you're seeing kind of a middle play from the line. I suspect that this line would be 4.5. If maybe upwards of kind of a dead number of 5. But that's what I would make the line with a healthy Joe Burrow. With the Rams seeing about 2.5 here, that tells me that Burrow is either leaning towards not playing in their eyes, or if he plays, we're going to get an ineffective Joe Burrow like we saw in week 1 against Cleveland. The Rams, on the other hand, I watched the game as a 49ers fan, watched that full game. Their offense is not. I mean, I am surprised with how much they're rolling without Cooper Kupp.
Yeah,
they're talented on offense.
I mean, look what they did. Look what they did with Kyren Williams last week. Kyren Williams. They flat out told Cam Akers like, "Oh, you're not going to play, and we're probably going to release or trade you."
Well, we're going to keep
going
doing
back
this.
to last year.
We're going to keep doing this with McVay.
Right? Yeah. Like whatever. Those guys just hate each other for some reason.
Let Cam Akers free. Just let him go.
He's a talented back. I do hope he ends up in a good situation.
Yeah, his Achilles thing slowed him down a bit. Right. But I mean, towards the end of last year, he was back playing fine. But Kyren Williams, I mean, he looks awesome out there. Yeah. I mean, Notre Dame product, by the way. It's probably why he's so good.
Yeah. But I said it earlier.
Defense is the problem, though. The Rams' D is leaky at best.
Yeah. It's definitely an issue, and maybe they make a trade acquisition halfway through the season if they're just like, okay, well, we actually have a nice team here. Yeah. Let's actually invest in this a little bit more.
If you get a good number and you see Trevor Siemian's the starting quarterback for the Bengals, I'm playing the Rams. Stafford's playing good, even though he's without Kupp. The defense will do enough against Trevor Siemian, even in the jungle. But if Burrow plays in the jungle, even that momentum, that's just stay away from me.
So it's actually not Trevor Siemian. It would be Jake Browning.
Jake Browning, even worse.
Who did not look good
Washington,
in the preseason.
Terrible
at all.
Terrible. Okay.
Jake Browning. I mean, so if this real quick, I know we're up against it, but if this line is saying 2.5 favoring the Bengals and Burrow's not going to play, why wouldn't you just take the Rams money line plus 120?
Because this line's telling me they're unsure if he's going to play. It's leaning towards no or ineffective.
So if you were like going into this being like, I don't think Joe Burrow's going to play.
Free roll.
Take the money line.
Play the Rams right now because they're going to close as a favorite at least a point. My projection is that the Rams will close by a point if Burrow does not play.
See, I think he does play because it's Monday Night Football.
Maybe. They need a win, so that's why he may play.
Right.
But I don't know.
He's going to be very limited if he does.
I don't like the situation.
I mean, Aaron Donald going after Burrow and that situation. But not to mention a little bit of Super Bowl revenge here.
Yeah,
possibly.
True. But
the Bengals,
they need him.
They need Burrow big time, and hopefully we see the Jamar Chase of old too. Right. Before we wrap here, I did want to mention that I opened up my DraftKings this morning.
Yeah.
And I placed a wager on Jamal Williams over 16.5 rushing yards, which looked like it was going to hit, by the way.
Yeah.
He was rolling. Jamal Williams left the game. I don't know which quarter it was. I think it was the second.
Yep.
got an old notification this morning that my bet was refunded.
Oh, that's
because he got a boo-boo and left the game.
Horrible. No offense. Hey, good luck with your free roll that you get or your refund, but I hate this. You're setting up a standard that is just
it's a horrendous precedent.
People get hurt. What are you going to give refunds for every Chubb prop? Look at all the guys you named at the top of the show. Are we going to give refunds for all those guys now? And why don't I get one for Chubb? Or why don't I get what? You're going to have all these like random people be looking for these refunds, and it's not a place you want to start to go. They're like MGM's not doing those things from my knowledge. Like I had an Aaron Rodgers prop in week 1. I didn't get my money back for it. Right? Like whatever. Like that's part of gambling. I like unders. I like to bet unders with props. So to me, you get hurt, buddy. That's the under. That's a cash for me.
What would you feel if you hit the under on that one?
I don't know.
I guess you get refunded too.
I'm sure they just give the money back.
It's in bonus bets. Like I want money.
Yeah, no, I know. But exactly. So there's like you're setting a standard that's not. Like, as someone who bets the under...
They've already set the standard last year or whatever it was. I forget what player it was.
It's a trend now that's happening.
Now you can't go back on this. But if you're a bettor and you had Nick Chubb as Offensive Player of the Year.
Yeah.
Horrendous knee injury.
Yeah.
Why can't I get refunded?
Yeah, can I get refunded for that? Can I get refunded for the
next thing? I didn't know he was going to blow out his knee.
If you're just a bettor now, just play all the overs. You'll get refunded if they get hurt. Right? That's the expectation now. It's crazy. Like to me, no, I like betting unders just as much as I like betting overs. I bet the numbers for what I believe. So I hate this. I hope it stops. And all these whiny people asking for their refunds on Twitter can go or X, get the hell out of here.
Well, that's the other thing too is I haven't seen a ton of people like complaining about this.
No, but you're starting to see like sarcastic
being like, "Hey,
tweets.
I should be refunded."
Yeah,
I haven't
because
seen
they
that.
are being refunded.
But even in the first place, like even when these finally opened, I didn't see enough complainers to justify a refund.
No, I think it's just trying to be competitive in the marketplace, right? Like
that's all it is.
It's like, hey, I can be on FanDuel. Now FanDuel's going to think like, hey, do I have to go give a refund to go get Joe Smith?
That's all it is.
And it's ridiculous.
Yeah. It's unfortunate to see. I mean, that should just be what it is. Yeah. Like if you leave the game and your player's hurt.
Under.
Sorry.
Yeah, under.
Injuries happen. That's what it is.
You're betting.
All right. Before we wrap up, let's just run through our likes again.
Sure thing.
My best bet was +3 for the Titans. Other likes were Chiefs -12.5, Colts, Ravens under 46, Chargers, Vikings over 54, Broncos, Dolphins under 48. And what were yours? Just recap.
Yep, quick recap. Best bet, Seattle Seahawks -5.5. I got the Jags -8.5. Green Bay -2. Minnesota +1. Tampa Monday night +5.5.
All right. Well, I just want to remind everybody to subscribe to our socials, please, if you're listening to the podcast. Follow us on Twitter @BetterInLaws on Twitter. On Instagram as well. That is the same handle, BetterInLaws. On both Instagram and Twitter. YouTube, find us on there. Hopefully you're watching us on YouTube. If not, we're on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcast. I am @Tuck Silva on Twitter, and you are @MPrisco3. Did I cover everything there?
You got it. The only thing I'll tell you is you might want to turn your notifications on because when this podcast goes live, numbers matter. Just remember that. The hook matters. Things move. Get those in as soon as possible.
And we will be doing a daily fantasy Instagram live, hopefully this weekend. Yes. We originally thought that we were going to be doing it on this podcast, but we determined that a lot happens throughout the week on the injury front.
Yep.
And that strongly impacts daily fantasy, not to mention ownership projection streaming as well, which we can give you.
For sure.
That stuff as well. So hopefully we will be on Instagram live for that. Well, that'll do it. Thank you, Matt. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Talk George Kittle anytime touchdown. Niners big Thursday Night Football.
We don't bet on Thursday Night Football, but we also had 4 Thursday Night Football bets.
Bonus.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. I am Tuck Silva. That is Matt Prisco. Producer Peter Hurley, as we call him. Thank you.
Thank you, Hurley.
And we'll see you guys next week. Good luck, everybody. Bet responsibly. Blah, blah, blah. Be responsible. Blah, blah, blah.
See you at the window.